What up, guys? How's everybody doing on their end? Mount Vernon Kid here, back again for another comic review. As always, like I said, promised the digital stuff is over. It was just I'm back, got the real deal in my hand. But once again, we're gonna break this up this time. I'm gonna do it this time. I'm gonna break it up again. I'm gonna break it up each block. This is gonna be the indie block. So everything that be reviewed is gonna be just indie. Next, I'll do DC, and then I'm gonna end it with Marvel. Don't worry, guys. Mr. Orpheus will be back. I think he said he'll hit me. He'll be back for the DC and probably the Marvel. He's still dealing with family issues back in the sixth dimension, so trust me, guys, he'll be back. But like I said, I'm gonna break this up into the indie stuff. We're just talking all indie books here. So I have 6 indie books for you. We got from AFTERSHOCK, we got from Dynamite, we got from Top Cow Image, we got one from Oni Press, we got one from Scout Comics, and last but not least from ZENESCOPE or ZENESCOPE. ZENESCOPE, yeah. All right, so let's get down to it, shall we? Okay, so we're gonna kick it off with AFTERSHOCK, and we're going back to Amanda Connors and Jimmy Palmieri's Superzero #6. Okay, so it's getting really, really bad for Drew. Everything that has happened in the first 5 issues is led up to this. And little Drew is in some serious shit. She's on a space station. Yeah, little girl's on a space station. And unfortunately, she's been captured by some serious opposition. And they are running some serious experiments on her. I'm going to leave it at that. It gets really interesting indeed. So far, this has been just a fun series from uh, Amanda and Jimmy, and nothing really to complain about with this. Superzero #6, good stuff. All right, let's move on to Dynamite. And when I saw this in one of a previous Dynamite comic, and I saw what they were doing, I was like, I got to put this on the pull list, and I sure did because I'm a huge fan of both. And I'm talking about Lone Ranger, Green Hornet, #1, Mike Uzlan and Giovanni Tipano. I hope I'm saying the name right. All right, first of all, badass fucking cover. Look at that cover. Beautiful. And if I'm not mistaken, that is motherfucking John Cassaday right there. Pretty good. Would need. Oh, there you go. All right. Sorry about that. Anyway, let's talk about this. So, did I enjoy this? This was very interesting. What they are basically doing is basically solidifying the whole relationship between the Green Hornet, Britt Reed Jr., Britt Reed, and John Reed, aka the Lone Ranger. He is his uncle. And this takes place in 1939, I believe, like 39. Let me make sure. I want to make sure the date. It takes place 1936, and then it goes, I think, 2 years. So right before the United States entered World War II. And we see an older John Reed, and he's having fun with kids and telling them the stories of his adventures. He doesn't say his name, but we get a flashback of him and Tonto dealing with Butch Cavendish, you know, the man who killed him and killed his brother, and why he became the Lone Ranger in the first place. But it's found out that Butch found out that he was the Lone Ranger, and it finds out that everybody knows that John Reed is the Lone Ranger, and we get to see his uncle, his nephew, Britt Reed's father, talking to him about Brik has no direction with the Daily Sentinel, all the stuff that's going on. And it's kind of more of just telling her how does, what can the older Lone Ranger with his wit and his know-how do to kind of give his nephew some kind of direction. We get a very good cameo by probably one of the most famous lawmen in history, Mr. Elliot Ness, the man who took down Al Capone himself. Yeah, is in this book, and it was really funny. And it's his reasons of why he needs help from John Reed, aka the Lone Ranger, because of a certain gang. And that gang is somebody that he knew from his past, and he is unbelievably shocked about it. Do we see Britt be in the Green Hornet costume? No, we don't see him. But it just mainly focused on John Reed. And a good start, in my opinion. A good start. I'm wondering where it's going to go. But Mr. Uzlan, very good. Very good start. Green Hornet. Lone Ranger, Green Hornet, #1. Good stuff. All right. Let's move on to top count image, and we're moving on to Switch. No, this is what issue is this? #4. #4. This is a self-entitled story. It does have the elements of the Witchblade and everything, and the darkness and everything like that, but it's its own side of story. So, uh, so basically, in this, Mary, who is the wielder of the Witchblade, she is still kind of trying to gain what this thing is she has, and fighting monsters and everything like that. She is confronted by one of her friends who wields the darkness, and his bodyguard's telling Mary, give up the Witchblade, I'm supposed to protect him. And she's just like, you can try, and she tries to take it. The Witchblade defends itself, basically like, no, I chose who I want. And Mary tells her, like, if you need my help, I'll come. And she's still getting to know all the past wielders. Like, she can connect with all the past wielders of the Witchblade. One of her favorites is still Ura, the cave woman that had the Witchblade first. She was the first wielder, and nobody can see her, but she can see, and she still has just a lot of fun. Interested in talking to her, and a lot of people don't see her talking to her, but it's funny. Her brother, who she saved, still, are you still fighting monsters? Things like that. It's really fun. Um, this does happen. We do get a dragon, or one of her other classmates is half dragon, or reptilian, if you want to consider that, and he helps her fight this big, powerful dragon, along with another wielder of the Witchblade, who seems to be, I think she was during the Knights Errant time. It was really fun. Very good. Not bad at all. Not bad at all. And Sarah Pizzini, the real uh, wielder of the Witchblade. Remember, this is self-contained. This is not abolishing any of Sarah Pizzini's stuff. This is a self-contained story. Sarah's bosses are kind of telling her, stay off the cases. You're a police officer. You're not with what did her captain say? You're not with oh my God, what did he say? I gotta look it up. It was funny because it was a lot of funny when he said it. You're not with uh oh my God, I can't remember what he said. It's so funny. He's like where was it? Where is it? Where is it? Shoot. Uh okay. Hold on. Oh man, I gotta find it now because it was funny. It was hilarious when he said, okay. Uh, Okay. Yeah, he says, okay, no, Pizzini, we are the NYPD. We're not the bloody X-Files. I thought it was hilarious when he said that. But he kind of changed his mind at the end, but this was good. All right. Let's move on to Oni Press, and we're moving to Brik. This is written by. I want to make sure I get the name right because I actually was talking to the writers on Twitter. Adam Glass and Mike Benson and Hardwinder Singh did the artwork. Um, this was good. I very much enjoyed this, and not for $1.99 for a debut issue. This was fun. First of all, much respects because it takes place in a Westchester County, New York City that I know very well and am not too far from. It takes place in Yonkers. Yonkers is right across a bridge where I live in Mount Vernon. So yeah, so this takes place in Yonkers, and I tweeted the writer, and he thanked me for, and he said much love and Yonkers, big ups to Mount Vernon. I was like, thanks. And I really enjoyed this. Basically, what this is if anybody's, you don't have to be Jewish, but if you ever heard the legend of the Golem, think about that. You ever heard the legend of the Golem? Uh, a rabbi, seeing that his people were being killed, he conjured up and summoned a being that was made of rock, and it took out its adversaries, the Golem. This kind of brings this up again. This young boy right here, his name is, I want to make sure I get his name right. Uh, what is it? Drew. Drew. He's young, and he's like mostly every teen. He's getting bullied. The bully beats him up, takes his money, and he's, oh man, I hate Yonkers and everything like that. And his mom and his grandpa, they run like a deli, and you know they're doing what they have to do, to get by. And his grandpa tells him a lot of stories to cheer him up. What most grandparents do to make sure their grandchildren, you know, which is great because that's how my grandparents were like. So, it was really good to see that. However, you could see that there's some that not everything is all crispy clean with this family. It seems like there's a neighborhood kind of thug who has, like, you can kind of say, a protection racket going on or so. And but his grandpa tells him the story of the golem, and it kind of cheers him up. And he's telling him how it was made and everything like that. And Drew is like, let's do it, let's make one. And his grandpa's telling him, no, it's dangerous because you could lose control of it and it can do a lot of harm. Without spoiling a lot of it, there's something that goes terribly wrong with Drew's family, a family member. um and Drew knows that said person that may have was involved, and he confronts that person, and it gets to the point where he literally goes to the autopsy room where his said person that died, I'll spoil that, is, and you find out that something about said person is on such and such back, a tattoo. Now, in Jewish, I know a little bit about Jewish following, and folk, is that uh, you're not supposed to have a tattoo. You're not supposed to be tattooed or anything. Um, and said person does. Drew's one of Drew's family does, and it has a certain incantation on it to make a golem, and it ends right there. And I was just like, oh, okay, are we going to see a modern day take of the Golem? And that's what really got me with this. This was good. Very good. So Mr. Glass and Mr. Benson and everybody who worked on this, you got a subscriber. You got a follower of this. I will be continuing to read this. I'm looking forward to more of this, sir. Very good. Very good story. Let's move on to Scout Comics. And I've been waiting for this for a long time. Solarman, #1. First of all, dig that cover. Like that cover. This is I don't want to butcher this name, but Illich, uh, Deanden, Harris, and Dalhouse. I hope I'm saying it right. This was interesting too because the way it's written as if someone else is telling the story, and it's written to the point of, is it the main character here, Ben? This is his name, Ben. Telling the story, or is it somebody else? Ben is kind of a young man who's got really, his direction is kind of all over the place. I mean, he can hack into anything he wants, and he gets paid for it and things like that. You see Ben just getting beat up, showing he's not afraid of, taking a whooping, but he's just showing I'm not afraid. But then we also see what's something going on in a space station and everything like that. And at one point, he's talking to one of his contacts, and Ben gets bombarded by something. And he wakes up, and Ben is different. He walks out in the street, more riffraff, more hood rats, hoodlums coming at him, and he just goes in on them with these new abilities. I'm not even gonna lie. He goes in, and there's a scene in here that just when I saw that, I was just, once again, I gotta stop doing this, but I start thinking of, what if that was me and my dad? Something happens with Ben and his father, with his newfound powers and his father, and I think you already should know what happens. Yeah, and it kind of ends badly. And it's there that we're starting to get like, okay, who's really talking here? Is it Ben or someone else? And then by the end of it, we see that maybe it wasn't Ben narrating the story. Someone else is. And I won't ruin who it is, but it was like, okay, this is interesting. I should show you the character, but if I do, uh, it could be all wrong. The artwork was pretty good. I'll show you a little bit of some of the artwork. Like, here's Ben right here, fighting with some of his powers and stuff like that. Look at him burning people. Uh, but I don't want to show that scene with his dad. That was just very, very hard to watch. But the individual at the end, I won't show. But this was good. Not bad, though. This is another that I want more. This was very interesting. I want to know how Ben is going to adapt to these newfound powers. All right. And last indie book for today. And I'll wrap this up for the indie books. And we're going Robin Hood. I Love New York, part 1 of 12. So this is a maxi series. We have the new creative writing team on here. I want to make sure I get everybody right. I just want to make sure I get everybody's name right in this. I don't want to. Okay. Am I right? Okay. Lou Ivino, I believe. Artwork by David Lopez Rivero. Uh, yeah, just want to make sure I get everybody right. And say the story is done by Joe Buscema, Russia, Russia. Um, this was really kind of hard for me to read this, guys, in a sense, because once again, like I always said, this was Pat Shant's baby. This was his baby, and I can literally say I am a friend of his. Uh, I talked to him on Twitter. I talked to him on Facebook. He's talked to me here on YouTube and always thanked me for supporting his stuff, and I always have. But this was very hard for me to read at times because I'm like, I'm scared that this team won't really do it justice. But I was wrong. This was really good. So basically, what this is kind of picking up right at a few months, I guess, after the events that happened in the last ongoing. You know, Robyn is still in New York. You know, she's kind of, you can kind of say she's kind of put her private investigation or PI side job on the side, and she's just trying to live her life in New York City. And she talks about how much, you know, the city has done for her, and you know how much it meant to her and things like that. And she meets a little girl. Her name is Gabby. If I'm not, I think it's Gabby. If I'm yeah. Was it Gabby? What was the girl's name? Make sure. I want to make sure. Yeah, her name is Gabby Martin. A young girl, and you know, Robyn helped. You know, helped her because a mugger stole her bag and everything like that. Robyn gets involved in something. You know, she kind of knew she was going to get into, and then you know, and then it's kind of like the police are looking at her like, you know, oh, you know, so you're back, are you back in the game and things like that. And Rob's like, no, I'm not. And it's almost as if, you know, they're like, if you're not, you can't be in and out, you can't be in between, you're in or you're out. And it's kind of in a sense, Robyn is back in the game. You know, she realized that, you know, maybe I'm not out. She sets back up her PI agency. You know, Marion, she does, I think she tweets Marion, or FaceTimes Marion, or you know, Skype Marion, and she's like, "You sure you don't need me? Come back in." And she's like, "No, I got this. I can do it myself." But she does call Gabby, and Gabby for help, and I'm just like, okay, this is kind of crazy, Robyn. I mean, this girl doesn't look old enough to drive, so you got to be careful with this. But looks like she's getting back into the swing of things. But it kind of ends weird because like someone is watching her. We don't know who, but somebody is. But this was good. This was not bad. I was scared because I didn't think that this new creative team was going to do it justice, and you know, but yeah, it did. I was very happy. Um, but yeah, this is a maxi series, 12-part maxi series. So this is one of 12. Robyn Hood, I Love New York. Good stuff. All right, guys. That is it for the indie books. I'll see you guys. Sorry, I'll see you guys with another with the next, which will be all the DC books. I'll show you the DC stuff that I will be putting up. What I'll talk about. Um, and you'll see. Basically, I'm gonna show you what it is, so you'll know what I'll be talking about. Okay, first off, we're gonna go Adventures of Supergirl #5. We're going Aquaman #2, Batman #2, Yabba Dabba Doo, yeah, the Flintstones #1, uh, Future Quest #2, Green Arrow, Green Arrow #2, Green Lantern #2, Justice League Rebirth #1, and Superman #2. So those would be on the DC side of things. And then once that goes up, I'll show you what I got for the Marvel. But other than that, guys, I'll see you guys next time with another review, with the next part of this review, which will be the DC books, and then I will end it with the Marvel. Other than that, guys, this is Mom Vernon Kid saying peace, one love, stay tuned, keep it real. If you haven't checked out some of these indie books, I recommend them. Check them out. You won't be surprised. They're worth your time. I'm gonna say that right now. Let me say that once again. They're worth your time. Yes, indeed. But other than that, you guys take care. I'm out.